Gwinnett County 911.
I need to make a report. My sister's been missing since yesterday. No one has seen her.
What's your sister's name?
Susana Morales.
When Susana walked out the back gate of Sterling Glen Apartments, there's a sidewalk there that would take her straight to her residence.
Where can I see her last known location?
I have a screenshot.
You have a screenshot?
They could see that she was walking back from the apartment complex down Singleton Road.
And all of a sudden, she goes in the opposite direction in a car. And that's when I started panicking. Something happened to her on the way home.
This case is just, it's unreal.
She walked that way.
Gwinnett County Police are hoping that you can help them find a teenager, 16-year-old Susana Morales. Police now believe that she may have gotten into a car that night, July 26th.
She was a young, full-of-life teenager who vanished pretty much out of thin air.
You know why we're here? Let me see that.
We just thought about the worst.
They needed to do something.
Oh! Brushes. Oh. Susana was the baby. She would get everything that we wanted when we were at her age. Necklace, earrings.
Yes.
She was definitely spoiled.
Y'all really went out. This is cute.
Ooh.
I like this.
Our best moments is laughing together as a family.
Oh, chicle.
Susana Morales was very close to her family. They lived in Norcross here in Gwinnett County. We are a large county just north of Atlanta, and we're one of the most diverse counties in the United States.
Where are you from originally?
Mexico.
What were you looking for?
Vivir mejor, ¿verdad?
3 daughters? ¿Tres hijas?
3 hijas. Julissa, Yasmin, y Susana.
Her name was Susana, but you called her?
Susie.
Me and Susana had a 10 years difference. Me being the oldest, I used to take care of them. Susana was very outgoing. I was a little closer to Susana probably because 3-year age gap in between us.
She was always making TikTok videos.
She loved to record music videos of herself singing.
Susana's best friends that I've known since like middle school for her was Kaya and Esmeralda. They were very, very close.
We had fun together. We didn't have to do much to be happy around each other.
She was a very bubbly person.
Remember Susana?
She was very sweet, very nice.
Susana's hair was very curly. She loved exploring new colors with it. She had dyed her hair green, red, and blonde at one point.
She worked with her mother at a local McDonald's. She loved music. She loved to play a ukulele that had been given to her. She loved to sing.
So won't you say me your location? Let's focus on communicate.
Take me through that day, July 26, 2022.
Yo hice pescado ese día.
Susana didn't really like fish and didn't want to eat that, so she asked her mother if she could go to her friend Esmeralda's home.
How close was that house?
Como 6 minutos.
6 minutes.
She told her mom she got to her friend's house safe, and that was around 7:19 p.m.
I just want to know if you got there. And she responds,
Sí.
sí, with a thumbs up.
Todo bien.
Later that night, approximately 9:40-ish p.m., Susana's mom starts calling Susana and asking her to come home because it's getting late.
You were going to go pick her up.
Le llamé 3 veces y no me contestó y ella siempre acostumbraba a contestarme.
Susana's mom reached out for Susana to be like, hey, where are you? And she texted her and texted her and texted her.
Susie, do you want me to go for you?
Ajá, le digo, mija, contesta por favor.
My daughter, please answer.
Because Susanna's mother was not able to get in touch with her, she reached out to Esmeralda and her family.
She called me asking if Susanna was at my house.
Susanna had actually never come over there.
Of course, that's my best friend, so I will back her up. I told her that Susanna was leaving while I was able to get enough time to get a hold of Susanna.
Initially, Esmeralda, being a teenage friend, was trying to cover for Susanna.
I contacted her, calling her, no response. So I texted her and told her that her mother was looking for her and she better be on her way home before I get in trouble.
Susanna's mother recalls talking to Esmeralda's mother, who told her Susanna was never there.
So mom at that point is worried and like, hey, why was my daughter not where she said she was?
I remember getting a call from my mom like around 9 or 10 p.m. at night, and she was just asking me if I've heard from Susanna or if I had talked to her because she wasn't answering her phone.
Susanna's mother was continuously contacting people, trying to figure out where Susanna might be.
She had a very good relationship with her sisters and her mom, so that was not characteristic if she did not get in contact with her mom.
I told my mom that maybe Susanna's phone had died or that she fell asleep, and let's just wait till morning to hear from her.
You realize there's something really wrong here.
Yo sabía que ella estaba en peligro.
One of Susanna's friends gets a crash alert on her cell phone. Susanna's in a moving vehicle and there's a serious crash.
That's Susie, huh?
Sí,
Your
la
screenshot.
foto de sus 15.
On her 15th birthday? For her quinceañera, what did she want more than anything?
Mami, quiero tacos.
Tacos.
Tacos, Susie?
All she wanted was to go eat tacos. She wanted us to buy her a mini quinceañera dress, a pink, sparkly, short quinceañera dress.
Susanna was always hanging out with her friends. None of them drove, so they all were young and would walk to each other's house.
On July 26, 2022, while Susanna's mother was attempting to locate her and worried about where Susanna was, Susanna's friend Kaya had gotten a notification on her phone through a mobile application on their phone called Live360.
It's an app where you can add people to your circle. You can add friends, family members, and it'll tell you their location.
It also provides other safety features, like parents can track their kids. It shows how fast they're driving. It shows if the phone battery's low, things like that.
Around 10:30 p.m., Susanna's friend Kaya had gotten a notification on her phone that Susanna's phone had been involved in some kind of crash.
Kaya gets what they call a crash alert on her phone. To get a crash alert, there has to be serious force with that phone.
Susanna could have potentially been involved in a car accident.
Once Kaya got the Live360 notification crash alert, she contacted Esmeralda.
So her friends at that point are worried about Susanna, and Susanna didn't drive.
After speaking with Esmeralda, she went out there and checked it out because we were thinking she got into a car accident.
They had the location of where the alert was sent from. So they went to that location and started looking for Susanna.
I was on the phone with Kaya. My sister had Susanna's phone number. My sister was calling her phone to see maybe we could find it or find any debris of any sort of car crash, but that road and that neighborhood was very quiet that night, so obviously there was no car crash.
There's no signs at all of a vehicle crash, no signs of Susanna, and no signs of her phone.
She couldn't find any debris or anything, so we just assumed that she was sleeping over at a friend's house, and we slept on it.
The next day, I received a terrifying call from my mom where she was sobbing, and I was like, what happened? My mom called me and told me that she was gonna call the police because she hasn't heard from Susanna. And I told her to wait for me, and I left work. I don't think I was really worried until I got the screenshots from the Live360 And that's when I started panicking. And it basically showed the trip of her walking home, and all of a sudden she goes in the opposite direction in a car. And it was like a notification of like 360 that Susana might have been in a crash.
She's heading down Singleton Road in the direction of back home. Then we see about 5 minutes later, her direction pattern changed and she's going the exact opposite way away from her house. And here we see she's now driving in a vehicle at a top speed of 40 miles an hour. Ultimately, we get the crash alert at that location. That's the last known location where Susana phones pings.
Once we got the screenshots, we realized that Susana had gone to a different friend's house.
She actually had gone to her friend Alyssa and Kelly's apartment complex.
Kelly is a girl that Susana's mom, for whatever reason, didn't like.
She didn't want Susana to be around certain friends because she believed they were a bad influence. Susana knew that her mom was going to say no about her going to Kelly's house. So she asked, can I go to Esmeralda's house? So that's where Maria thought she was going to go. But instead, she ended up going to Kelly's house, which she lived in the Sterling Glen Apartments.
The Sterling Glen Apartments is a fairly typical apartment complex for that area. A lot of different buildings that have multiple apartment units in them. There's a clubhouse and a pool. Because of the crime in the area, they also employ a courtesy officer to help patrol the area.
The family have at this point reached out to all of their friends of Susana. No one knows where she is, so they reach out to the Gwinnett County Police and make a report.
My sister's been missing since yesterday. How old is your sister? 16. Okay. Is your mom or dad there?
Yes.
I'll have an officer out there as soon as possible to meet with you and your mom, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Maria speaks Spanish, so just to have that clear communication, if we can, we send officers that speak Spanish.
Buenos días.
Mi hija ayer a las 6 de la tarde se fue de su amiga según y su teléfono está apagado.
Her friend has her on like 360, you know what that is? But it's not like renewing her location. And once the officer arrived at the house, we were just letting them know what was going on, that Susana hadn't made home since last night and she wasn't answering any calls.
So where can I see her last known location?
Have a screenshot. We were showing him the screenshots from the Live 360 and all the messages that we had, and they asked us to send that to them, so we did.
When you're looking at the 360 of her being in a car, it can be someone took her, or it can be that she ran away.
Whose car is she in? What happened? Is she okay?
My name is Xavier Biggers. I've been in policing for 20 years. I've always wanted to be a police officer since I was 5 years old. At the time of Susana Morales' disappearance, my title was a sergeant over the Special Victims Unit. Initially, I had nothing other than what the officers on scene had given me.
Top, they show Susana's hair.
She had black fingernails. That's something that stood out as something descriptive for her.
Y quería ver si me podía ayudar como a localizar su teléfono.
Todavía no podemos hacer eso.
No.
So, lo que yo puedo hacer ahorita es el reporte inicial diciendo que ella no ha estado aquí.
They gave us a report number.
Good morning, GCSB.
Good morning. I need to list a juvenile missing.
When Susana's mother called us to report her missing, she was put on the system by the officer that made the report as a missing person. On that day, I was the on-call sergeant. They called me and let me know that they went door to door trying to get more information about her disappearance. They went to Sterling Glen Apartments, where Kelly lives.
78 Road.
Hello.
Hello.
They spent about a good 3 to 4 hours at that apartment complex looking for her.
She here? She's working right now.
And they actually spoke with Kelly and talked with her.
You know why we're here?
From Mexico.
What can you tell us about her?
She left me 10, and then there was only more. Like, this is so strange.
Susanna ended up walking over to her friend Kelly and Alyssa's home at the apartment complex.
We were actually able to locate social media videos that were taken of Susanna and her friends that day.
We were doing a belly piercing, just taking videos.
We were just hanging out. We ended up walking to the back of the gate to the apartments, and then I just said goodbye.
Around 10 p.m., Kelly said that she took Susanna to the exit of the Sterling Glen Apartments on Singleton Road.
Singleton Road is located in a pretty populated area. There are residential areas as well as businesses. Even at night, there's a lot of foot traffic as well as vehicles.
Susanna had walked on that road numerous times, so she was familiar with it.
However, once you pass the businesses, it is a very dark walk back to Susanna's house.
This is where Kelly basically walked Susanna out to the back gate, and Susanna went home this way from the back gate. From Sterling Glen Apartments to Susanna home is probably only about a 15-minute walk.
To get home, Susanna would have exited the Sterling Glen Apartments through the back gate, taken a left onto Singleton Road, and then traveled down Singleton Road and taken a left onto Santa Ana Drive, where her home was located.
I was a homicide detective with Gwinnett County Police at the time of Susanna Morales' disappearance. I worked on the same floor as the Special Victims Unit. I heard them talking about it, so of course I jumped in and I was asking questions. There was something up with this that wasn't a typical case.
Somewhere after she walked past this parking lot, her phone changed directions and began going back towards the Sterling Glen Apartments at a speed that's consistent with her being in a vehicle. And within less than a mile, a crash alert is received.
So this is the direction the 360 application was showing. Susanna was going in at 40 miles per hour. Then this is the area that it pretty much crashes out and roundabout here. We checked to see if there were any accidents in that area. There was no accidents reported in that area.
Given that there's no actual evidence of a car crash, our assumption is that her phone is thrown out the window out of a moving vehicle and that the phone is damaged or broken to cause the crash alert.
When you're looking at the 360 of her being in a car, you can see it from both ways, and I saw it from both ways. It can be someone took her, or it can be that she ran away. So.
I knew she didn't run away. She was on the way home and something happened.
Just because of the information that we had about hanging out with Kelly, and the fact that she told her mother that she was going one place and she ended up going somewhere else, we was thinking maybe that she had thrown her cell phone away or got rid of it because she knew she was going to get in trouble. So we linked this as possibly, well, she was running away. Even with that, we were working the case as a regular missing person by gathering the information we had as far as her friends, her social media, and doing the things as our policy have stated and working at that point.
Did you ever think she would run away?
No, no. Yo nunca pensé que estaba run away. Nunca.
She didn't take her charger, she didn't take clothes, she didn't take anything. So we were really, really scared at that moment. And that's when we as a family start looking for her.
They needed to do something. Susanna's nowhere to be found. They go out, they start canvassing.
Then the family thinks they found something.
That's her, that's her.
That is her.
That's her.
Just be honest, we don't throw out search parties unless it's a critical person. Diabetic, can't live by their own, something that will have exigent circumstances for us to find this person. She's 16, right? Yeah, let me make a couple phone calls.
After filing the police report, we said that we weren't gonna wait. We had to do something. And so using the screenshots that we had, we kind of retraced her steps. We started looking for her in the exact point where the app shows where the incident was.
The ping hit in this area right here. Her family came here, and it was unfortunate that this was not the location where Susanna was at. It was just the last area where her cell phone pinged at.
We tried to retrace her steps that we thought that she would take. So we started at Kelly's apartment.
Nosotros fuimos prácticamente las detectives.
You were the detectives.
Sí, andábamos siempre buscando, investigando, preguntando.
They needed to do something. Susanna's nowhere to be found. They go out, they start canvassing as well.
We were asking all the businesses to see if they had any cameras, and we got to a daycare. The camera system that the place had, it was super old, so it was like an hour ahead or behind.
I'll tell you the time it is.
At first we couldn't get anything until he went back to the right hour. We saw Susanna.
That is her.
That's her.
We were like, oh my God, that's her, that's her.
In the video, Susanna's wearing the yellow tank top, jeans, and white Crocs.
She's alone. There's no cars near her, no strangers.
She appeared to be walking towards the direction of her home, and that nothing was wrong at that moment.
Susanna walked this way. She walked past the cameras coming right there. She walked down this pathway here.
Once we saw that, our mind was thinking that maybe she got kidnapped, she's being raped, she's trafficking. We just thought about the worst.
Ahora sí se la llevaron de ahí entonces.
It was a bad feeling because we knew for sure something had happened because she was on the way home.
How did you feel?
Fue más la angustia y porque dije yo si ella iba, a mi niña alguien se la llevó. Yo siento que ella me había gritado, mami, ayúdame, pero no estuve ahí.
You have to look at, was she abducted?
We have close to 40 to 50 missing persons reports in our system a month. And I would say majority of those, they come back home within the first week. All hands are on deck when it comes to a person that's been abducted versus someone is just being missing, because you have to show that foul play is actually involved. And at that time, we didn't have any information that Susanna was abducted by anyone. However, I had taken the case as a personal matter, and I was looking for her like someone had taken her. My daughter is 16 at the time when this occurred. I looked at this as if she was my daughter, because every day I saw my daughter, I saw her. So I was working harder every day because I came over here to the extra storage space knowing that Susanna was continuing her walk, but unfortunately the video camera only caught the brush at the bottom of here. It didn't capture the sidewalk. We actually checked the bus's cameras during that time frame when she went missing. We didn't see any footage of her on any of the buses. At Sterling Glen Apartments, the only cameras that they have are on top of the building. Those are considered like live feed cameras, which means live feed, not recording.
Once Susana was reported missing and nobody was able to find any location for her or any information about where she had gone, Susana's family and her friends and the community began to launch a campaign to try and find Susana.
We decided we would make these big posters and saying, have you seen her? Can you please call this number? And we were posting it all over social media. I remember I got a call from this woman. She was saying, I have your sister, I have your sister. In that moment, my heart dropped.
Especially nowadays with social media, people do things to make you feel like a moment of hope and false hope. And that's what happened.
He was just not messing with me.
Unfortunately, there are evil people out there and they prey on this.
Necesito saber que estás bien. Tú sabes que te amo muchísimo.
The family is begging and pleading with anyone to find Susana.
We just don't know what happened. We don't know if she got picked up. We don't know if she got lost. She wouldn't just go out and not tell us.
This was a case that grabbed so much attention. You're talking about a teenager, and all of a sudden she goes missing. It blows your mind.
We did receive a lot of tips from people who were genuine and did care and tried to give potential sightings of her.
One tip brings her family to the brink.
Someone saw Susana's bright curly hair at a hotel.
Police are dispatched to the scene. What do they find?
Me and my mom were going out every single day. If we would get a tip at 2 in the morning, we would be out looking for her at 2 in the morning. I remember that we would get a lot of sightings of her, and so we would always go and check out.
At one point, a tip comes in that someone saw Susana's bright curly hair at a hotel.
And when we went, we were just driving around the hotel. And then in one of the windows, we saw a silhouette of 2 women, and one had super curly hair. And we were for sure that it was Susana. So we called the police.
We had officers go to the hotel because they were actually waiting in the parking lot saying that Susana was actually there.
They were taking forever to get there, and once the police got there, they went inside and they were able to talk to one of the women that was there. The lady that had left was the one with curly hair. And so we were like, oh my God, what if that was her? So we were left with that doubt if that lady was her or not.
They never gave up hope, and I lived off their hope. After my 8 hours of work, I would still spend 2 to 3 more extra hours during, I would call it Susana time. Just driving around just to seeing if I could see Susana sitting on a stoop or sitting at the playground. Hoping that I would possibly see her just walking down the sidewalk. I mean, my car doesn't really look like, a police car. So I would actually go in plain clothes and just camp out at some of these hotels. And after a while, some of the criminals who do a lot of prostitution started noticing who I was. This is the RV camp. Someone said that they had thought they saw a sighting of her over here. And then I just got into a routine that I would do the exact same thing. And I would go from the hotels to here, to the businesses, to the apartment complex, to Sterling Glen. I just kept doing the exact same thing over and over because I just felt that if I didn't do it, that will be the day that someone saw her.
It was a super hard time. I was honestly really just trying to be strong for my mom.
Él decidió que desapareció mi vida. Por decir así, se acabó.
The longer that Susana remained missing, the bigger of a story this became in the local community.
It's been more than a month since anyone in Susana Morales' family has heard from the 16-year-old.
I spoke to friends, I spoke to family.
You treat this just like a real homicide case, not just a person just walked away. Everyone is now considered a suspect at this point.
Throughout those investigations, the police realized that absolutely none of them had any information whatsoever as to Susana's disappearance.
So I asked for another media release to be sent out just to keep her name relevant, and we had no suspects at that time. We don't know who's watching.
This is 16-year-old Susana Morales, a teenager who's been missing since summer. Cell phone data and cameras show her last known location was in Gwinnett County, walking home.
We needed either someone come forward with some information or Susana come home.
If you have information, please call Gwinnett County Police.
And then within about 2 weeks or so, we had a break in the case.
I received a call saying, "Did you hear the news? They found your sister."
Y'all really went out.
Nobody expected to still be looking for her.
Gwinnett County Police Department out of
They
Leeds,
said they have exhausted all options.
looking for this missing high school student.
We had the meeting where it was decided like I would kind of take over the case, and then we just started doing all these other search warrants, and we got a call.
Gwinnett County 911. What's the location of the emergency?
He was driving. He noticed on the side of Highway 316 a trail that went into the woodline. He had a small kind of off-road vehicle, and he liked to adventure and find different trails. And so he took that trail down the side of Highway 316. He ultimately said that he got a phone call, got out and began to walk around the woods as he was on the phone.
I was just out walking through the woods off the side of 316, but I found a human skull.
All right, we're gonna have an officer head out that way.
No, bro.
A patrol officer sent to check out those remains. The man who made the 911 call from on the side of the highway, and he kind of leads them into the woods where he found it.
Is it off like this road, or is it a little bit ways off?
Go right up over here.
There's no stores, there's no real residences. It's just literally the side of a highway. It's not a place that people normally would pull over and just walk around, or there's no reason for someone to be there.
315 out in code 4.
We see on that officer's body cam, when he gets there, the officer sees a skull. And the remains are too big to be a small animal, and it's clearly they are human.
And there's more. I walked straight that way, and there's a few more over there.
Step back a little bit. We're gonna see how far we gotta cordon this off. I got some tape in the back of my car too.
So the Gwinnett County Police Department confirmed that they did appear to be human remains. And so the Gwinnett County Medical Examiner, Homicide Unit, and Crime Scene Specialist responded to the area.
We were called out because a citizen discovered skeletal remains. This is just all wooded. There's nothing out here.
You want to go get your phone?
Yeah.
This general area right here is where the remains were located.
This is gonna be all night. Yeah, it's gonna be several hours.
The first thing that I saw when I got here was a human skull on the ground.
Right now they're collecting some of the larger bones of the foot. We've retrieved a significant portion of the skeleton. The skull's complete.
There's no clothing, there's no wallet, there's no, possessions, no effects.
Police look, and there's absolutely nothing to identify the person. Not even any indication if they're male or female, adult, child, nothing.
The nail polish on the fingernails, I recalled a photo that Detective Carter had shown me of Susana. In that photograph, her nails were painted black. it kind of put a chill in my spine.
Something he took note of was that the remains that we were able to actually recover indicated that her clothes were not with her at the time that she was killed.
I definitely remember thinking that whoever this girl turned out to be, you know, it was immediately obvious that she didn't walk out into the woods. As thick as it was, she didn't walk out here in the nude with no shoes on. That was immediately suspicious.
By the time the medical examiner processed the scene, it was completely dark in the middle of the woods. Our immediate concern at that point was trying to verify if, in fact, these were Susanna.
Could it really be Susanna? All of our hearts break because, of course, we still hope she's alive.
I made arrangements to have uniformed officers out here so that there would be bodies all night guarding this perimeter, making sure that no evidence could be tampered with, to come back out here the next day to search for additional items just because it was too dark to perform that thorough of a search.
Hey, y'all hold up. Recruits found a gun.
It felt really strange that a firearm would be out here.
Probably 30 yards past where the skeletal remains were found.
I was just out walking through the woods off the side of 316, but I found a human skull. I walked straight that way, and there's a few more over there.
So we went that next morning out to the remains. From there, I started doing some research on him.
Miles Bryant was working for the Doraville Police Department. Doraville is between our area in Gwinnett and the city of Atlanta, not far from us.
His side gig was to do security. He was a courtesy officer for the apartment complex where he lived. And that's typical. You'll see officers live in different apartment complexes and they'll do security for them.
He appears very young, and he is young. He was in his early 20s. Miles grew up here. He went to school here in Gwinnett County.
Me and Miles Bryant grew up since I was in elementary school. We were best friends. He was kind of nerdy. He wore glasses. He liked me. He wasn't my type. So I just kind of threw him into the friend zone.
Miles played football at Burkmar High School. He was a running back.
His number was 23.
He would post highlight videos of himself to his Huddle account. He's in ROTC in high school. He joins the Army National Guard. Miles was very proud of his National Guard service. He posted photos of himself in his uniform on social media.
He always wanted to be a police officer.
Detective Carter began to review that report of the missing weapon, believing that it was very possible somebody had stolen this gun and used it to abduct Susanna.
What's up, man?
Hey, Mr. Bryant.
You're probably getting slammed, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
At that point, that's when we pulled that body cam video on the gun reported missing.
So, yesterday, so I can't find my wallet, and then this morning I looked on my floorboard and the my Glock 19 holster. Right. So, oh, I hate to say, I think I left my. They ain't smashed the window or nothing. Around, left my door unlocked.
Miles Bryant reports that from his personal vehicle, his own truck, his wallet is taken and his gun is taken.
I looked down this morning and saw my holster. I said, I can't find my wallet. My holster's there. My gun and holster is never separate, you know? Okay. Either way, I'll list it in the truck just to say it's on the report. Yeah.
I don't want detectives to follow up on a stolen gun report.
Hey, I just want to document this, but you don't need to send it to detectives. You don't need to investigate that. That's unheard of.
If you need anything, hit me up. I'm more than willing to talk to you. Cool, man. Appreciate it, bro. Hey, hopefully you find your wallet. It's not actually... Yeah, I know.
When the police department discovered that he was a police officer, they didn't want to believe that he was necessarily involved in this, but at the same time, It was very difficult to figure out and think about how his gun could have ended up in the woods where Susanna was last located, 22 miles away from where he lived.
I was like hardcore at that point. We need to talk to this person because they're definitely going to have information or some kind of involvement.
We're literally talking to everyone here, so we got no leads, man. We're just trying to...
Myself and Detective Carter went and got the dental records for Susanna. The medical examiner was able to match them up and actually told us that it was Susanna. Me and Carter, we just sat there and cried for about 10 minutes because we didn't want to believe that it was her.
We're about to go make death.
I remember going to my mom's house to wait for the police, so I know Biggers and Carter were coming, and then that's when they informed us that they had found her remains.
And I was like, what? They found my sister.
I remember Brenda hearing my mom screaming. And I was in shock. I was like, that can't be true. Like, that can't be true.
Our mom literally just fell to the ground. Her soul just left her body. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done, and to this day, it's still, obviously you can see that it still sticks with me.
La peor noticia que le mata uno como madre desde que Susana desapareció. Yo siento que no hay alegría en mi corazón. Amo a mis hijas, pero algo se murió dentro de mí.
Unfortunately, because of the way the body was disposed of, we have no indication of what happened to Susanna.
But what the medical examiner also determined very quickly was that there was also absolutely no evidence of any clothing that had been on Susanna prior to her being left there. And that was significant because with an accidental death, it would be very unlikely, nearly unheard of for Susanna to not be dressed, to not be clothed. And so that immediately told us that we suspected this was a homicide.
Investigators in Gwinnett County just told us human remains found along Highway 316, that's in Gwinnett County, are those of a 16-year-old girl who disappeared in July.
I remember Carter promising me that she would find out what happened and who did it.
Looking at Miles, we're kind of wondering, what his involvement may have been. Is he a true victim and had his gun stolen, and whoever stole it is responsible, for maybe taking Susanna, or is this a ruse to distance himself from his gun being located out in the woods where the remains were found?
They then obtained a search warrant for Mr. Bryant's cellular phone records.
We just got phone records back on our suspect. He is in the wood line at 1 a.m., which is 3 hours later after Susanna goes missing.
Now, Miles Bryant was a police officer. He had two phones, a personal cell phone and a work cell phone. Both phones put him in that location, and he's in the same location at the same time as Susanna's remains.
Oh, I wanted to go arrest him. I wanted to go arrest Miles right away. I wanted to leave that night and go get him because it was alarming. I'm like, he's in a position of power. I'm like, we can't just leave him like this. But this is a cop involved in this. We need to make sure we handle this correctly.
I went out there and just waited for him to walk outside, and we just approached him asking for his help for our investigation on Susanna.
Hey man, what's up? You doing all right? We're just down stuff like that.
Yeah, so at that time, there was no arrest warrants for Miles, so he really needed to come voluntarily. So we kind of just urged him that we needed his help.
Yeah, there's to be today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I have to go meet my girlfriend and not work with her.
Okay. What time's work at? 4? Yeah, it should be. We're literally talking to everyone here. So we got no leads, man. We're just trying to document everything. That's all we are.
No problem.
Okay? You can get up front seat, all right, man?
Oh, yeah, we'll get you up there. Knock this out.
We don't put him in the back of a patrol car. We actually let him sit up front in the police car, trying to make him feel comfortable, make him see, hey, we're just police officers, one-on-one, friends, talking to each other.
So we brought Miles up here. He sat in this chair here, and we interviewed him.
Hey, how you doing?
In the interview room, we have seats where we put certain people. Like where detectives sit, where suspect sits. We let him sit in a detective seat. We didn't change anything. We wanted him to be as comfortable as possible.
I'm Detective Carter. I'm waiting on this. Time to get a lot for this case. So I gotta start working a little bit more.
So Detective Carter obviously wanted to build a rapport with him. They're both working for the same goal, trying to accomplish the same thing, and that's find a missing girl.
Have you ever seen her? She used to be over there quite a bit.
Okay. I recognized the picture. I recognized it.
So the initial plan for the interview, again, just go in there, be relaxed, ask him very open-ended questions. I asked him about his gun. Have you heard anything about the gun? And I played dumb.
I know that your gun was stolen. Do you know if it was located or anything yet?
No, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't run it yet. We probably need to check that.
And then at one point when I think I got as much information as I probably could get from him with just being super casual, I dropped that one bomb.
Basically, my sergeant did confirm, so we did find your gun. Actually, yeah. You watch the news, you know we found Savannah. But there was actually a gun found out there too.
For real?
Yeah. You've been shaking.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know?
Why
I told you were coming up here, you know, we wanted your help and everything, and your hands were shaking in my car. Alright, so bad.
We had not disclosed prior to the interview with Mr. Bryant that we had found a firearm near Susanna's body. So he learned that for the first time sitting there in the interview room.
That's crazy, I found my gun.
And it's the same serial number. He just verified it.
It's crazy.
I know. So help me walk through it a little bit. Do you know where she was found?
316 somewhere.
At that point, when I told him we found his gun, he does start shaking a little bit more.
That's crazy, I found my gun.
So
You think it's involved?
I mean, that's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
I think it got stolen from you the same day, so it's probably someone that was walking around out there.
Yeah.
Try to think hard with me.
Did you know her at all? Morales? Nothing? Nothing at all.
Look, your gun was found there.
Yeah.
You know how this goes. We have to do like this, that, and the third to do everything. Which we did. We did our due diligence. Yeah. So I did get your phone record.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew you were already up there.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of you were there for a little while.
So once Miles was confronted with the phone records, he changed his story to say that he got in this crazy chase fight with his girlfriend.
Okay, yeah. Oh, God, I remember that part. She tried to chase me. My girlfriend tried to chase me with her car. Yeah, I mean, I was driving around. I was driving, and I remember I was driving, and I was still in our area. I remember I was driving. She tried to chase me. Yeah, like the Jerry Springer episode. Yeah.
His story went from there's no reason I would be there, I'm never there, to, oh yeah, actually I was there. And I stopped and pulled over and I was on the phone.
Going up towards Lawrenceburg, I think, yeah, oh man, that sounds bad. It is over around 316.
I mean, you're saying that's bad. I mean, Lawrenceville's big. You're saying that's bad. You mean the area where...
Yeah, because, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a police officer, okay? So
yeah.
My gun was found in that area, you know, technically was in that area, stuff like that, you know. So, I mean, it sounds bad, but man.
Miles ultimately, says that he admits that he was out there. He kind of has to because his phone put him out there, but he said he doesn't get out of his vehicle, doesn't do anything in the woods.
Why were you in the woods?
I wasn't in the woods.
You were in the woods.
I was not in the woods.
You were. You're not helping me out much, man.
I know.
Interviewing him was just so frustrating because This poor girl didn't deserve this. Like, she didn't. And I just wanted him to take responsibility and actually tell us what happened instead of deflecting and trying to say that he had nothing to do with it. So,
you weren't chasing him?
But she said she never chased him.
Oh, your girlfriend says absolutely not. She did not chase you that night.
She did not chase me?
That's what she
I
said.
swear.
So I even, told Miles that I thought he was, lying about his gun being stolen, telling him that he was trying to distance himself from the crime, and he just denied everything.
I think you dropped your gun. She could find it. You gave up and left.
No.
You didn't even want a detective assigned to your case. You told the officer, you don't even have to investigate this. Because if we investigate it, we're gonna find it, and it's gonna be near a dead body that you killed.
No.
You can say no. I don't hear that word from you no more.
You don't represent this badge at all, or this country.
So, dude.
I was hoping talking to Miles about, honor, pride, integrity might tug on his, conscience a little bit, because people get into law enforcement for the right reason, and I was hoping maybe that would strike a chord in Miles, but unfortunately it didn't.
Honor, integrity, sacrifice. You're none of those.
And unless you could provide us with that thing that's going to say it's not you, but you haven't done that.
What do y'all want? I'll tell you everything I got.
Yeah.
All right, man.
You'll be charged. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
You know why, bro? I should have stayed home instead of driving around, man.
We tell him, look, dude, you're under arrest.
Hey, Miles, go ahead and stand up for me. Yep.
We get his phone, we get his passwords, and he is transported to the jail.
Oh, can't, bro. I cannot go to jail. I have career.
At that time, because we weren't 100% sure on the cause of death and we were still looking for additional evidence, we charged him with false report of a crime. You can't just go to a judge and say, well, I just know it, I just feel it. We have to come with some evidence.
We started investigating Miles Bryant's past, and there starts to be a bunch of weird behavior with women.
We began to realize who Mr. Bryant really was under the surface, and it was this repeated pattern, all involving young women.
I was very scared for my life.
The funeral was very surprising, seeing a lot of community together. A lot of people out there supporting our family.
Yo creo de que cada uno de nosotros tenemos una reflexión en este día.
And that quinceañera dress was the one she was buried in.
Sí, ese vestido decidí ponérselo sobre sus restos. Y ya le puse su vestido y con ese se fue.
All I could do was cry and cry. The most emotional part about the funeral was hearing my mom cry out justice for Susie to the Lord.
Susana Morales' family got a call from investigators just hours after laying her to rest Monday.
¿Y cuándo fue la primera vez que oíste el nombre Miles Bryant? The first time you heard the name Miles Bryant?
Estábamos nosotros terminando el servicio de sepultarla cuando recibimos la llamada que tenía noticias para nosotros. Y fuimos a la oficina de la policía y ahí fue la primera vez que escuchamos el nombre de él.
22-year-old Miles Bryant started the day as an officer with Doraville Police. Now he's behind bars, off the job, and linked to the disappearance of a dead teen.
I got search warrants and conducted forensic downloads on his cell phones and then began reviewing that data. I was able to show and put him out there based on his activity logs on his cell phone.
Bike drop.
The man arrested last week for the death of 16-year-old Susana Morales is now charged with her murder. 22-year-old former Doraville police officer Miles Bryant now faces charges of felony murder and kidnapping.
It's disheartening when you think that a police officer would be involved in something as heinous as this situation. It is an affront to what these officers do on a daily basis.
We went to arraignment. We entered a plea of not guilty.
They didn't do their job. They didn't do their due diligence.
I think there were some feelings from many in the community that the police didn't care about Susana, about her being missing because she was Hispanic. And while I didn't feel that way, and I don't think the police felt that way, I think that was a feeling in the community at the time.
It was still 7 months of us looking for her, 7 months of us worrying about her. I feel like if we could have found out sooner, that would have been a little more helpful for us, that maybe we could have buried her body and not just her bones.
Chief McClure defended his department.
Again, this case was immediately assigned to an investigator, and they began following up on leads trying to locate Susana.
When I was looking into Miles, I located a lot of documented history and encounters we had with him where it seemed like he kind of targeted women.
Me and Miles Bryant were friends from 5th grade all the way up to 10th grade. We kind of stopped talking a little bit, but then after graduation, he hit me up to start talking again. He was asking me about his ex-girlfriend a lot. And I kind of got like an icky feeling.
Laisha Bates told him, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And he just wouldn't take no for an answer on that. He continued to reach out. He continued to follow her around, show up at her apartment, try to break into her apartment.
Covering his face and pulling on the door handle, then again knocking. This happened nearly 5 months after Gwinnett police say Bryant dumped the naked body of Morales in July.
My neighbor's ring cam captured 2 times Miles Bryant showing up to my home uninvited. It freaked me out. When I called Doraville's department, I spoke to the chief, and the chief was telling me that he'd speak to Miles and give me a call back.
So his superiors start investigating that. Bryant says that he only did that because she posted something he found strange on social media, so he went by her house to check about her well-being.
And Doraville just writes it off as a misunderstanding between 2 people, but they do tell him not to have any more contact with Laisha Bates. When you look at it in light of what came out in relation to the Susana Morales case, however, it's very concerning.
I was very scared for my life. I felt like everything was against me as far as the odds, just the fact that he was a cop.
Mr. Bryant lived 2 lives. On the surface, he was a well-respected police officer, but then on the other side was this dark and hidden secrets.
We, in the DA's office, we all looked through his body cam footage. There was a call located where he responded to a missing juvenile.
So somebody picked you up and what?
In that video, he basically described what he's basically done to Susana, which is very scary.
We're doing a missing person, then we find your body out there in the woods. Then what?
Miles Bryant, an ex-cop now on the other side of the law, accused of kidnapping and murdering 16-year-old Susana Morales.
We have yet to hear why prosecutors think the former police officer would abduct the teenager and kill her. They did say that he is accused of trying to dump her body in a wooded area. Reporting live in Gwinnett County, Courtney Francisco, Channel 2 Action News.
This was a high-profile trial. The courtroom was packed, a lot of family and friends, and it involved a police officer, so you can imagine the interest is really high.
He was supposed to serve and protect. Instead, he abused the law. He is a cop who turned into a killer.
Unfortunately, because of the way Miles Bryant dumped Susanna's body, we didn't have evidence to prove a cause of death.
I thought it was important for the jury to understand that it's his fault that we don't have that.
The defendant doesn't get to escape justice because he's good at committing murder.
Our strategy was basically to try to get the jury to see that it was basically a speculation as to what really happened that led to the death of Miss Morales.
We do know that Miles left her in the woods. We don't know if she was unconscious at that time or if she was dead. We don't know that he did anything to her to cause that.
He might have lured her in through the use of a badge or gotten her in the vehicle somehow, but very quickly I think he incapacitated her and ultimately murdered her. And as the courtesy officer there at the apartment complex, he had run into Susanna and had seen her along with her friends.
Do you swear?
Susanna's friend Alyssa testifies at the trial that they had met Miles Bryant before at the apartment complex.
The defendant, Miles Bryant. Have you seen him before?
We all knew it was a cop in our neighborhood.
Had you ever had any personal interactions with the defendant before Susanna disappeared?
Yes. He came with his backpack and he had a drink with him and he had little shot cups and he had edibles and stuff. And he asked how old I was, and then when I told him my age, he still wanted to talk to me but didn't talk to me because of my age. So he knew not to drink with me, but he wanted to drink with me before he knew my age. But he still offered the edibles.
And Susanna was with you?
Yes. He offered us to give us a ride to get pizza, but we said no because we're underage, you're grown.
How old were you back in July of 2022?
I was 17.
Too young to drink, correct?
Right.
It proved to us a connection. There was some time when Mr. Bryant had seen Susanna before, even though he claimed to never have seen her.
Prosecutors were painting a picture of Officer Creepy. His employment record was strong evidence that he had some questionable encounters.
I'm going to show you what's marked as States Exhibit 6.
Prosecutors showed the body camera footage of Miles Bryant telling a 13-year-old what could happen to her if she runs away from home.
A mom had reported her 13-year-old daughter was missing. And he is there taking the information. While he's there, this young 13-year-old girl comes back.
Miles starts talking to her and says, pretty much narrates what I believe he did to Susanna.
Something was happening to you. We're doing a missing person, then we find your body out there in the woods. Then what? Nowadays, people don't care. People are my size, big, and just come snatch you up. You can scream, you can shout all you want. They're going to throw you in the back of the van and go take you, and your parents will never see you again. And there's nothing you can do. You can't fight it.
It was definitely disturbing.
Here he is interacting with another young Hispanic female, a teenager, and scaring her.
You got a cell phone?
No.
No? See, little something happened out there. What you gonna call?
And this was a couple months before Susanna ever went missing.
And it was almost this premonition that he had put thought into this.
It's ridiculous that he would use his position in order to prey on young women.
Emotional testimony today in the trial of a former police officer.
I had prepped a lot for this trial because it meant so much to me and I didn't want to be the reason anything messed up. So I was very, locked in and focused. So I get up there and then the emotions just start coming. Detective Keshler was communicating with me and telling me that they believed it was going to be, a Hispanic teenage girl.
That's all the questions I have.
District?
I don't have any questions, ma'am. Thank you.
The defense attorney in this case doesn't really challenge a lot of the things that are said about Miles Bryant, and she doesn't call any witnesses. There's still one person we're all waiting to hear from, however.
Mr. Bryant, do you swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Can't get enough 2020 true crime? This podcast is for you.
Join me for 2020 The After Show, wherever you get your podcasts.
Get exclusive audio you won't hear anyplace else. New episodes drop every Monday.
The ex-cop plans to testify in his own defense.
When the defense attorney says we're going to hear from Miles Bryant, that was a big bit of news for us.
Miles Bryant is the only one who was in those woods. Susanna's mom and family could finally get answers.
He told us he didn't do this.
Look at him. Have nothing to do with this, though.
If he wanted to take that back, he needed to get up on the stand and say it.
Are you aware that this is the only time you can testify during your trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you personally, Miles Bryant, want to testify or not?
No, ma'am.
He didn't take the stand, so everyone waiting with that bated breath, how he can explain himself. They did not get that at all.
He's a predatory monster with a badge. I'm asking you to find him guilty.
Is there any evidence of malice in murder? There is not.
When we were waiting for the verdict, it was like 8 p.m. and we were there. It seemed like forever, to be honest.
Tonight, we learned the fate of the former police officer accused of killing this teenager, Susana Morales.
The judge is given the paper. She's reading it. I swear it's like in slow-mo. It takes forever.
Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty.
And as soon as she said guilty to malice murder, I knew at that moment we had him. The guilty on malice murder was going to send him to prison forever.
Miles Bryant found guilty of malice murder, kidnapping, felony murder, and false report of a crime.
I felt maybe just like a little bit of relief that he wasn't going to be able to walk away free from what he did. I would like to know from Miles Bryant, why did he do it? What did my sister do to him to deserve such a death?
I don't think they're ever going to get those answers. I think they'll have to live with an understanding that we got the right person.
Susanna's family is able to give the victim impact statements. Then Miles is asked, does he have anything to say?
I just want to apologize to everybody and to the victim's family.
He says sorry. He just gives some, he should have just been quiet.
No, I didn't care about his apologies, to be honest, because we still had that unknown of what happened that night.
The judge then sentenced Bryant to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
You moved from that house?
Yeah.
Do you still wait for her?
Sí. Era mi bebé.
She was your baby. How often do you think about her?
Y todos los días. He aprendido a caminar y a sonreír, a seguir, pero el dolor. Solo digo al Señor, Señor, a veces le grito, ¿cuándo vas a quitar este dolor que siento?
The video of Susanna singing the song Location on the ukulele is one of my favorite videos to look back on.
So won't you say me your location, let's focus on communicating.
My last memory was I got on her bed and I was like, Susie, I love you so much. And I hugged her and she was like, I love you too. And I think that was the best experience and last experience I had with her. I want her to be remembered by her laugh. Because she was a beautiful girl and At the end of the day, she was just a sister, a daughter, a friend. And that night, she was on the way home, and nobody had the right to take that away from her. She was on the way home.
We should note tonight that Miles Bryant's motion for a new trial has been denied. He's now appealing that decision to the state Supreme Court.
David, for more on Susana's case or similar homicide investigations, you can check out the first 48 Thursdays on A&E. That's our program for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Deborah Roberts.
And I'm David Muir from all of us here at 2020 and ABC News. Good night.
So were you the nanny or were you the girlfriend?
When we had opportunity, I still slept with him.
So you were both.
Tonight on 2020, the notorious murder case of the doctor with the perfect life and the perfect wife until she was found dead in a bathtub.
She is unconscious and underwater.
He said, I'm getting away with murdering my wife. And he goes, oh no, I'm glad the is dead.
And what about the nanny named Gypsy who entered the picture?
It looks like you've come in to claim your prize.
Gypsy Jillian Willis.
Her name is Gypsy.
Gypsy Jillian Willis. The person coming over's name was Gypsy.
Tonight, the whole story. Grieving daughters forced to play detective against their own father.
And I was just screaming. Killed her.
And the question that remains, was the nanny part of the whole scheme?
And she's actually Gypsy to the funeral.
You crashed her funeral?
I realize it looks pretty cold on the outside.
Pretty cold? It looks callous.
The Perfect Nanny. Here now, Elizabeth Vargas and David Muir.
As we come on the air tonight, a doctor and husband sits behind bars waiting to learn just how long he'll be there for murdering his wife. A case that's now back in the headlines because tonight a key player is talking to Elizabeth.
That's right, David. I've covered this story since it first began more than 5 years ago, and one question kept coming back. How could such a picture-perfect marriage crumble so quickly, ending with pills and murder, and a healthy wife found dead in a bathtub? And did it have anything to do with the family's perfect nanny? Or was she?
Michelle Summers was a fresh-faced beauty queen from California, a sometime model with a string of suitors. But it was a handsome, aspiring doctor named Martin McNeil who made her fall hard and fast. They eloped when Michelle was 21 and soon afterward started a family.
She had 4 kids in 5 years, so we were just boom, boom, boom.
Alexis and Rachel McNeil grew up idolizing their father.
We thought, what an inspiration to become a doctor, to become a lawyer.
I wanted to, follow in my father's footsteps. I always wanted to be a doctor, just like him.
A doctor who didn't just help heal his patients, but who also taught Sunday school at their local Mormon church, and who seemed to have a heart big enough to adopt 3 young Ukrainian orphans, Elle, Giselle, and Sabrina.
So from the outside looking in, it sounds like the perfect family.
Yeah.
If you're thinking it seems too good to be true, you're right. Take a closer look at the picture-perfect patriarch, and a different image begins to emerge.
Not the typical father. He was just very
Very haughty,
stern,
kind of
haughty, arrogant.
Mm-hmm. He thought anyone that was not at his educational stature was very beneath him. He treated them very poorly.
The only 2 things I want you to learn in school. Number 1, how to use the English language effectively. Number 2, how to effectively use money.
When the family moved to the Utah community of Pleasant Grove, next-door neighbors Doug and Christy Daniels couldn't help but notice the contrast between Martin and Michelle.
She was very quiet, was always very pretty and very well kept.
All the girls were just dressed perfect, like a tea party.
But the Daniels say Martin was a braggart and a bore.
If Martin was ever around, it was him that always dominated every conversation. You could tell that he had a huge ego.
He just made sure to say that he was downsizing into his home and that he was a doctor and a lawyer.
Martin's adoring daughters often found themselves apologizing for their dad.
Everybody hated him.
Everyone hated
I mean, I was constantly trying to explain my father. When he'd come home, he was a completely different person. So we thought we knew the real person.
It was when Martin turned 50, his daughters say, that the quirks they'd always defended turned stranger. He became obsessed with the way he looked.
Alexis, away at medical school in Nevada, came home to care for her mother, but the evening after the surgery, she says her father abruptly told her to leave.
He said, I need you to get some rest, Alexis. And I said, no, I want to stay right here by my mom. And he told me, I'll take care of her medicines tonight.
You say that the next morning, when you saw your mom, she was heavily medicated.
She was completely sedated and out of it. The next day, I mean, it took a pretty much 24-hour period until she kind of regained consciousness and was able to talk to me. And she said, Alexis, you know, your dad, he just kept giving me medicines. And I went right to my dad. And he goes, I don't know, I must have done something wrong. And he said, oh, and your mother threw up. So then I gave her more medicine. I said, Dad, don't give her any more medicine. I'm gonna take over.
Alexis spends the next 4 nights taking care of her mother and monitoring her medication. Michelle seems to be feeling better. But one morning, as Alexis was washing her mother's hair, she says Michelle dropped a bombshell.
She started to cry. She said, if anything happens to me, make sure it wasn't your dad. And I said, Mom, what do you mean? You know, what are you saying? And she just said, you know, make sure if anything happens to me, it wasn't your dad.
Alexis alone knows her mother's terrible secret fear, but Alexis would soon discover her father was keeping secrets too. Phone records revealed he was making calls at all hours of the day and night to the same number. Who was on the other end of the line? See what's next.
The Perfect Nanny continues. Once again, Elizabeth Vargas.
Michelle McNeil is recovering from a facelift her daughters say she had only to please her husband, Martin. Daughter Alexis gets ready to go back to medical school, still troubled by a strange warning she says her mother gave her about her father. But she is happy that Michelle appears to be on the mend.
The doctor said she was healing great. She looked great. Went out to Sizzler. She had a steak dinner. She was feeling great. They dropped me off at the airport. You know, I just remember looking back and seeing my mom and waving.
But the next morning, less than 24 hours later, there would be a 911 call from the McNeil home.
Swollen in the bathtub. Okay, is she conscious? She's not. She's not put on a position.
Martin McNeil, a prominent local doctor, sounds frantic.
She is unconscious. She's underwater. Okay, did you get her out of the water? Yeah, let the water out.
Veteran 911 dispatcher Heidi Johnson is on the line.
It was really hard to understand him because he was yelling very hysterically at me.
Okay, is she breathing at all?
So I tried to calm him down and tried to get the information from him.
Okay, do you know how to do CPR? I'm doing it. Okay, do not...
But he didn't want to stay on the line with me and he hung up.
In fact, Martin hangs up not once, but 3 times in less than 5 minutes. And he fails to give an audible address. As a result, Heidi Johnson loses precious minutes figuring out where to send the ambulance. Meanwhile, Martin sends the youngest McNeil child, 6-year-old Ada, next door to neighbor Christy Daniels.
And she said, my dad needs some help.
It was Ada, just home from school, who first found Michelle unconscious in the bathtub.
So I ran in and...
Alexis's older sister Rachel has also been trying to call home and finally gets through to her father.
I said, Dad, what's going on? Is it something with Mom? And he said, Rachel,
come home. And so I called Alexis, and I said, Alexis, I know it. Mom's dead. I said, she's dead. And Alexis said, yes, yes.
Stunned and grief-stricken, the two sisters return to their parents' home. Alexis takes Rachel aside.
She walked with me into the closet and said, Rachel, Dad murdered Mom. I know he did. I said, what are you talking about? I thought Alexis might have just been
overly emotional or
just devastated.
But soon, Rachel starts wondering. Her father's story of what happened doesn't seem to add up.
Okay, do not hate.
Why would this experienced doctor hang up repeatedly on the 911 operator? And why would a seemingly fit man need another man's help to rescue his dying wife?
It was very strange to me that he couldn't lift my mother out of the tub, because he was finishing the downstairs basement a few days prior, and I had helped him lift sheetrock in.
And Alexis had her own questions about Michelle's pills. She asks her father, where are those powerful painkillers and sedatives, and how many did her mother take on a morning when she had been recovering well from her facelift?
I said, where's the medicine? And he said, I don't know where it is. Check in the garage.
But she finds no medications, and when she asks her father again, he says they've been thrown out. And why? Now both sisters begin to suspect the inconceivable, because Alexis tells her sister about something else that happened just weeks before Michelle died. When her father had started to disappear for long stretches, Alexis says her mother asked her to do some late-night investigating.
While he was sleeping, I went online and printed out all of his phone records. And we found this number that he'd been calling a lot.
A number being dialed day and night. Alexis did an online search.
And it popped out the name of the person.
And it was?
Gypsy Jillian Willis. And my mom was like, who's this? I mean, we thought it was maybe some like stripper or something. Who's named Gypsy?
Who is Gypsy? Well, meet Gypsy Jillian Willis, a 30-year-old nursing student when she met Martin McNeil in an internet chat room. Her screen name, Phoenix Sheba. He told her his name was Joe. But that's what it looked like to Martin's daughters when they made another startling discovery.
We'd come to find out that my dad had been dating Gypsy for several years before my mom's death.
Less than a month after his wife dies, Martin McNeil moves Gypsy into the house to care for his motherless children.
So were you the nanny or were you the girlfriend? So what do you think of Gypsy? And if you had the chance to interview her, what questions would you ask? Tweet me using hashtag ABC2020. We'll be right back.
Still to come, how did Martin McNeil's fairy tale marriage end up in a bathtub with a 911 call and his wife lying face down? Or was she?
This bathtub, ladies and gentlemen, has an important story to tell.
The Perfect Nanny continues next. '20 continues with The Perfect Nanny.
In the hours after Michelle McNeil's death, Pleasant Grove police detectives see no reason to treat the bathroom where she died like a crime scene. They collect no evidence from the McNeil house. And the only person they interview is her husband, Martin, who they know is a well-established local doctor. He tells them he believes his wife passed out while preparing the tub.
I thought that if this...
Stay with us.
Once again, Elizabeth Vargas.
4 years ago, two desperate sisters took their story to 2020 after a small-town police department closes the case on their mother's death in the family bathtub and let their father, Martin McNeil, off scot-free.
Not only would they not listen, they were mocking us. They were saying, you're ridiculous. You guys are just upset that, you know, your dad has had an affair. Lots of people have affairs.
But they found a sympathetic ear in Doug Whitney, an investigator at the Utah County Attorney's Office. 2 years after Michelle's death, they convince him to reopen the case. And when he does, he finds something surprising. Martin was not the man he claimed to be. This prominent doctor and lawyer actually had a life based on 3 decades of lies, stretching all the way back to his days in college and his school transcript.
His entire career is based on falsified transcripts from different colleges.
Well, so then how did he go about practicing medicine?
The guy is brilliant. I'm not saying that he's not smart. He just...
Martin McNeil's gigantic con job was stopped short by Doug Whitney's investigation. He had both Martin and Gypsy arrested for identity theft, and they were convicted in federal court and sent to prisons in Texas. And while they are behind bars, investigators go for broke and work to pin Michelle's death on Martin.
I will simply say that I believe that Martin McNeil is a sociopath.
They begin chipping away at Martin's version of the story of his wife's final bath and ask some tough questions. Why couldn't a fitness addict like Martin lift his wife out of the bathtub alone? Could Martin's relationship with Gypsy be a motive for murder? The questions raise suspicions, but it's still not enough to charge Martin with murder. Then the prosecutors catch a break. Something happens in prison that lands McNeil in hot water. And weeks after his release from prison on the fraud charge, he is arrested again, this time for murder.
There is a big trial getting underway in Utah.
There was no doubt in my mind that one day this case was going to be reopened.
5.5 years after Michelle died, Martin McNeil sat once again before a judge, this time fighting for his life.
This case is a puzzle with many pieces.
The trial opens with McNeil's defense attorneys claiming Michelle died of natural causes.
What is very important in this case is that none of the medical examiners believe that Michelle's death was due to a homicide.
The jury of 5 men and 3 women was about to hear Martin's sordid secrets when witnesses reveal how he really felt about Michelle.
And he goes, I'm glad the is dead.
Next.
"2020's The Perfect Nanny" continues. Once more, Elizabeth Vargas.
Taking center stage, a model of a bathtub.
It was called The Case of the Murder in the Bathtub, gripping the country for weeks.
She finds her mom dead in the tub.
Martin McNeil on trial for his wife's murder.
Let me just say, may they rot in hell.
Martin McNeil sat in a Utah courtroom charged with the premeditated murder of his wife and the mother of their 8 children. His chief accusers, his own grown daughters, who believe their dad was a killer.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
But Martin's defense team tries to discredit the daughter's version of events, sticking to the coroner's original report that Michelle's death was from natural causes.
Martin McNeil is innocent, ladies and gentlemen.
The trial begins with Michelle's cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Scott Thompson.
Good morning, Dr. Thompson.
Morning.
He runs through the laundry list of drugs he prescribed for Michelle following her routine facelift surgery.
Keflex, Phenergan, Valium is the anxiety medication, Percocet, Ambien for the sleeping, erythromycin eye ointment, the Medrol dose pack, the hydrocodone elixir, liquid medication for pain.
Thompson admits he wouldn't normally prescribe so many drugs, but that Martin, a fellow doctor, assured him that he wouldn't let Michelle take too many pills. Sis testifies that Martin forced Michelle to take more drugs than she wanted.
She said, "Lexi, I don't know why, but your dad kept giving me medication. He kept giving me things, telling me to swallow." And she said I even started to throw up, but then he started giving me more medication.
Did she make any specific requests?
She actually had me take out every single pill from the pill bottles, and she wanted to feel what the pills felt like in her fingers, so that if my dad tried to give her anything, she'd know what he was giving her, because at that time she couldn't see.
But the jury would not hear a crucial piece of evidence, something that Alexis revealed to 2020 about Michelle's fears just days before her death.
She said, if anything happens to me, make sure it wasn't your dad.
Those damning words are ruled too prejudicial by the judge. The jury never hears them. So the prosecution instead hones in on Martin's movements the morning Michelle died.
There's about an hour-and-a-half period of time where no one really knows where Martin is.
A timeline shows a 90-minute gap between the time Martin left work and when he picked up 6-year-old Ada from school.
Plenty of time. Rush home, take care of your business, give Michelle the drugs, fix her up a bath, get her in the tub, hold her head down for a little while, and help her out.
Witnesses say Martin was frantic that day.
I could hear Martin yelling that he needed help.
I asked him what happened.
And what did he tell you?
He said, well, he went into the room and he described it as he saw her face down the wrong way in the tub.
As a crucial centerpiece of their case, prosecutors haul in a replica of the bathtub where Michelle was found.
This bathtub, ladies and gentlemen, has an important story to tell.
Brooke testifies that when she entered the bathroom, she saw Michelle facing up and lying inside the bathtub, partially undressed. That contradicts Martin's description of the scene.
Was Michelle dressed or not?
What I remember is Michelle had a long black sleeve shirt on and nothing else.
Okay, no bottoms.
No bottoms.
Prosecutors argue that Martin tried to make it look as though Michelle had been taking a bath and that she slipped under the water. But he had been interrupted when the neighbors arrived sooner than he expected.
It's a very small bathtub. It'd be almost impossible in this bath to slip under the water.
So why would Martin try to stage a drowning accident? Prosecutors argue it all comes back to Gypsy.
He was at a crossroads. He had to choose between Michelle and Gypsy. He chose Gypsy. He chose Gypsy over Michelle.
And although it is Martin McNeil who was on trial for murder, it seems as though everyone has something to say about Gypsy.
It's Gypsy Jillian Willis.
Her name is Gypsy.
Gypsy Jillian
The
Willis.
person coming over's name was Gypsy.
Gypsy Jillian Willis.
The jury hears how Martin lied to his children, telling them Gypsy was just the nanny.
Because she was nothing like my mom.
Did you ever see your dad and Jillian interact?
Yes.
What did you see?
I remember her going up into my dad's room at night and then have the door closed, and I just remember staying up at night thinking, what in the world? I mean, I thought she was our nanny. Why is she up in Dad's room?
The testimony of his children may have been devastating to Martin McNeil, but what may have sealed his fate was a string.
Did Martin talk to you at all about the relationship he had with his wife before she died?
A little bit, yes.
Do you recall what he said?
That she was not going to let him keep cheating on her.
Did he say whether he actually was cheating on her?
Oh, yeah. He told me about his girlfriend.
Did he tell you what his girlfriend's name was?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Her name was Dipsy or Gypsy or something like that.
Some of the inmates request that their identity be concealed for fear of reprisal in prison for snitching.
Doc, they say you murdered your wife.
And he's like, I can get away with a lot of things.
Did he say anything else about that?
Yeah, he's getting away with the murder with his wife.
He called her a
And I just went up to him and said, hey, man, I apologize about your wife. And he goes, I'm glad the is dead.
Okay.
The prosecution rests its case, and the defense calls a handful of character witnesses and a medical examiner to drive home its main argument, that there is no proof that Michelle is a murder victim.
Is there a real possibility that the inmates are not telling the truth? Yes, there is.
Defense lawyers continue to cling to the original autopsy report, citing a natural death.
They don't rise to the level of proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
The jury doesn't buy it.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
After 3 weeks of testimony and 11 hours of deliberation, the jury returns a verdict. Michelle's daughters choose not to dwell on that question.
Finally having justice for my mother, who means everything to me. And she was taken away from me, from all of us. And we're finally getting justice for her.
Tonight, Martin McNeil is still behind bars, waiting to be sentenced. He faces 15 years to life. As for Gypsy, she's now hired a publicist. She says she's got a story to tell. We'll be right back.
And now your first look at a 2020 exclusive breaking 1 week from tonight right here. A mother on the run with her 2 little boys, and 2 fathers back here in America desperate to track down the fugitive mom and their beloved sons. We take you from Los Angeles to Paris to Geneva. And what happens when we track down that mom?
Next Friday, it's a furious worldwide manhunt to find this stunning woman and her 2 young boys. They vanished, taken, when she abducted them, fleeing the country, leaving 2 desperate fathers searching for the ex-wife turned fugitive.
Everything I thought she was false.
Now follow the heart-pounding clues.
I'm terrified.
That shockingly reveals her boys disguised, posing as girls. And see what happens when David Muir tracks her down.
Why take the boys and run?
On the Run, 2020, next Friday after Shark Tank on ABC.
Wow. Hope those boys are okay, and you'll have an update on that on the program as well. And that's our program for tonight. I'm Elizabeth Vargas.
I'm David Muir from all of us here at ABC News in 2020. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Good weekend. Good night.
I begged her for an ounce of her strength so that I could put one foot in front of the other.
Tonight on an all-new 2020, an unbreakable bond between mother and daughter, but someone came between them.
He's like, Mom's dead, and he just kept repeating, Mom's dead, Mom's dead.
I ran downstairs and was hysterical and started vomiting.
She was found laying right here.
And I said, well, you can go right over there because that's the person that killed my mom.
But just who was she pointing at?
This is a delicate question, whether somebody that she was having an affair with could have had her killed.
He started thinking about ways to engage his exit strategy.
To get rid of her.
To get rid of her.
Hold on, he's coming out.
Tonight, a daughter's discovery of family secrets and scandals leading to a dramatic showdown.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Behind the scenes, Kim was nonstop digging for answers, getting proof.
Now we're taking you inside her obsessed 6-year crusade to catch the killer.
What kind of crimes?
We're talking murder.
2020 tonight going into a dangerous underworld no one could have imagined.
Drugs and a lot of money, inevitably a murder of April Kaufman.
Before this hour is over, there will be another shocking death. But is that the end of the story?
This is my life, and I feel like this is the worst made-for-TV movie on the planet.
Good evening, I'm Amy Robach.
And I'm David Muir, and this is 2020. And here tonight, Deborah Roberts.
WIBG, it's the talk of South Jersey.
Driving the corridor between Atlantic City and Philadelphia weekdays between the hours of 2 and 4, you may have heard this voice on WIBG FM.
If you don't vote, I will find out. I'm going to your house. I'm dragging you outside.
That's the no-nonsense April Kaufman, a peppery, provocative radio host.
I love being here to bring you the truth. As unvarnished, as unpretty, unbuttered on the biscuit it is.
Tackling topics from politics, caring for U.S. vets.
Homelessness is a big issue in our country right now for our veterans.
Listeners couldn't get enough of the Jersey girl with the platinum hair, big smile, and high wattage personality.
She was like a whirlwind. Like, she would come in and she would make a lasting impression on everyone.
In her upscale town of Linwood, New Jersey, not far from the boardwalk, April and husband Dr. Jim Kaufman, a prominent endocrinologist, are the community's consummate power couple.
The two of them were well known individually as well as together. They really wanted to be involved in the community, but they also like to have some fun.
Every day, the doctor and Mrs. Kaufman had a familiar routine. Jim heading to his medical practice before sunrise, and then a standing phone call with April at 8:30 a.m. But on Thursday, May 10th, 2012, that call to April goes unanswered. And after several failed attempts, Dr. Kaufman sends over his handyman to their home on Woodstock Drive, where he discovers a horror.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, I have my bosses down. She's lying on the floor in her bedroom and not answering me.
Okay, where are you, sir?
2 Woodstock Drive, Linwood.
Okay, hold on, I'm transferring.
47-year-old April Kaufman found dead on the floor of her bedroom. With the family handyman on with 911, Jim calls Linwood police.
This is Dr. Kaufman. I just got called by my house person that my wife is face down on the floor.
My partner's sending out the ambulance as we speak.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting there as fast as I can.
Detective James Scopa took me inside the home where the wealthy socialite who once lived larger than life was discovered dead, shot multiple times.
She was found laying right here.
Face down.
Face down.
As the media got there and they started to realize who it was, that's when they knew, okay, this is really a story. It was chaos.
As the steady whir of helicopter blades begins swarming the sky, Jim Kaufman makes another phone call, this one to stepdaughter Kim Pack.
I answer the phone and I say hello, and he's like, Kimberly? And I said yes. He's like, Mom's dead. And he just kept repeating, Mom's dead, over and over. And as I got to the front door, there was a police officer that put his hands out, and I pushed his hands away. And I go, where's my mom? Where's my mom? What is happening here? I need to see my mother. He said, we think this is a potential homicide.
No one could imagine who would have shot April Kaufman. Beautiful, blonde, glamorous, and she was fun. No one had any idea what was going on behind those closed doors.
She made everybody feel like they were her best friend. Didn't matter who they were, the checkout, the parking lot cart guy, you know, hey beautiful, hey handsome, how you doing today?
Friends Peg O'Boyle and Lee Darby knew April since she was a teenager and knew her well enough to know that her outward glow masked an inner pain.
She had a really rough childhood. When April was 11, her mother gave her brothers and sister up for adoption, and April was raised by her grandmother, and her brothers and sister were put into foster care.
You know, I think she had her thirst for being, you know, feeling loved. She just wanted to be loved.
She would discover unconditional love at 17 when she gave birth to Kim with her first husband.
She was an incredible mom. She seemed to just instinctively know what to do.
She always spoke to Kimberly like a little adult, and we used to call her Agnes, Agnes Beeswax, because she was this little old soul. April just wanted the best for her and gave her the best that she possibly could. You know, she worked hard.
April dropped out of school when she became pregnant, but she got her GED. She clawed her way back. She opened a salon, a catering business, a cafe, a charity worker.
But while April worked hard, she played hard too.
She liked motorcycles and fast cars?
She did. When she got her first motorcycle, she said, I'll give you $300 to get on the back of my motorcycle. And I was like, no way. My feet are on the ground. And she would be like, all right, $500. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting on the back of your motorcycle. Just the need for speed, and wasn't afraid.
After 2 failed marriages, she meets Dr. Jim Kaufman. Friends and family say the wild child finally had found her match.
He drives a Harley, he's smoking cigars, he's a Green Beret in the military, a doctor.
In fact, this caricature sketched for Jim's 60th birthday seems to sum up the couple's life. There's April, the buxom Jersey girl, overshadowed by her larger-than-life new husband, who's prominently depicted with a gun, big cigar, and something else, military tattoos.
He had Purple Hearts, he had medals, sharpshooter medals that he had gotten from being in the war.
The Vietnam War, back when protest songs permeated the radio airwaves in the U.S. Jim Kaufman makes clear he distinguished himself on the battlefield. Kim was so impressed, she asked her stepdad to be the subject of a college project. He agreed to be interviewed with some conditions.
There were 2 rules to this interview. 1, you can never ask my mother about this, anything pertaining to this interview. And 2, you have to destroy the tape when you're finished.
That's a little mysterious.
Yeah, but you know, I just thought out of respect, this is what he's asking. He talks about how the Viet Cong had ambushed his camp, stabbed him, but also stabbed and left all of his comrades and left them for dead. And his sole mission, he had said, was to grab these dog tags and bring these dog tags to these people's families so that they know what happened to their boys.
That's an amazing story.
Yes.
It's no wonder April was motivated to mount a campaign, using her radio voice to demand quality health care for veterans.
This was such a big issue that affected our veterans and our state, our country. So I will thank my husband for a lot of the things that I've learned over the years.
April felt that veterans should be treated like rock stars.
So how did this fierce and loved advocate for casualties of war become a casualty herself? Kim has an idea and approaches investigators with a shocking declaration.
As I made my way out into the cul-de-sac, I look up in the air and there's all these news choppers flying up above. And I said, well, you can go right over there because that's the person that killed my mom.
Stay with us.
Many attended today's funeral services at Bethel Synagogue in Margate for 47-year-old April Kaufman.
Mother's Day 2012, the town of Linwood, New Jersey turns out for one of its own, complete with a cortege of veterans leading their champion, April Kaufman, to her final resting place.
The well-known local radio host, who was shot multiple times and discovered dead in her Linwood home last Thursday.
It was like a state procession for April Kaufman. No one could believe what had happened.
She just was so caring, so compassionate. She just was an inspiration to everybody.
The loss heaviest for April's daughter, Kim.
I miss her calling me nonstop, all the time. I miss her laugh. I miss her smile. I miss her infinite wisdom, because she really was my rock.
After the mourning came the murmuring. Sometimes talk is cheap, even in wealthy towns.
This is a delicate question, but there were questions about whether your mom was having affairs.
You know, they had a very unhealthy relationship, the both of them. And I will just say that there were indiscretions on both sides of the fence. And I'll leave it at that.
Did it concern you that maybe somebody that she had been involved with could have killed her?
No, but I certainly provided those people's names to the police, and I allowed them to do their due diligence.
While the community is in shock and awash in rumor and innuendo, listen to this, April's final radio broadcast, where she sounds like a woman who thinks her days are numbered.
And my bottom line is, if nothing else, of my legacy of leaving, a really beautiful daughter and 2 grandchildren on this planet, I really hope to God that people, hey, I could get a flyover at my funeral now.
You listen back to that and you think, did she have a premonition? It's kind of like she was trying to tell us something, I believe.
In those early days after her mom's death, there's one thing gnawing at Kim. One person she's curiously not getting consolation from? Her stepdad, Dr. Jim Kaufman.
Dr. James Kaufman was a very well-respected and well-regarded member of this community. But to Kim, stepfather Jim was a very different person.
He was very cold to me, always kept me at an arm's length.
Literally. Just look at the pained body language in this video taken on Kim's wedding day.
1, 2, and 3. Here we go.
Take a close look. He steps into the scene. He smiles one time for the camera to flash. Then he goes back to a very taciturn demeanor and steps out. No hugging, no kissing, no warmth, nothing.
You would be in the dining room, I would be talking to my mom, and he would come and turn the lights off and just walk out of the room.
He controlled her cash flow and
yes.
how much money she could spend?
Oh, yes. And sometimes even calling her, who are you with? Where are you?
And just 2 months before April's murder, it seems the bloom was officially off the rose of her nearly 10-year marriage. Kim recalling a lunch where her mother confides she's had enough.
She talked about that she really needed to start aligning herself and getting herself in a good spot to be able to leave. I think that he had made it clear to her that she wasn't going to divorce him and take half of his empire. That was his famous words.
Did you get any feeling that your mom might have been in any kind of danger?
She had made it clear over the years that he had threatened to kill her several times, but would always follow up with, he doesn't have the guts to do it.
Though Jim is not named a suspect, some might say he begins acting like one.
Within days of April's body being found, Jim hires a lawyer.
Not only a lawyer, but the lawyer, a mob lawyer.
Ed Jacobs, one of the biggest legal names in Atlantic County. He's even defended Bill Cosby in one of his sex assault accusations.
He loves defending high-profile criminal cases. His walls in his office are covered with news clips of himself.
One possible reason he's not named a suspect? He's got an airtight alibi. That's him entering a local convenience store around the same time his wife is being gunned down.
Authorities are not releasing details, but it appears that Kaufman's shooting death was not random.
I meet him in a restaurant, and he says to me, let me tell you something. I have a very good attorney, and I'd been advised to not speak to anybody about this. He's like, you might need to really start to realize that this is never going to be solved. And I said, well, I'm not going to realize that. I said, because I will never stop finding out. And I walked away, and I never spoke to him ever again.
As the months drag on, Kim says the only cold shoulder icier than Jim's is the one she's getting from then Atlantic County prosecutor Jim McClain.
I had several meetings with him, and he would just say it was active and open and not really say much more.
Did you get the impression that he was determined to get to the bottom of this?
No.
Then, on the one-year anniversary of April's murder, many turn out for a candlelight vigil, including so many vets she made her cause. Noticeably absent, Dr. Jim Kaufman. He marks the milestone another way.
We discovered that he was getting ready to auction off all of April's belongings and hadn't given anything to Kim.
How crushing was that for you?
Beyond, because the things that I asked for that belonged to my mother were family heirlooms or possibly Disney coffee mugs.
With her mother and all those mementos lost, Kim tries to adjust to a new normal while raising her two young sons and holding down her job as a pharmaceutical sales rep.
Marching through every single day, waking up with another day of hopelessness while trying to keep that glimmer of hope alive is a very tricky thing to do.
Yet while life for Kim seems hopelessly on pause, for Jim Kaufman, it's full speed ahead. Just 15 months after his wife's murder, he ties the knot again.
He remarries Carol Weintraub. When did that start? Now, the version we've gotten is that they started dating after April was found murdered. Now that's some romance.
April's friends and family were devastated, and they felt like it was a slap in the face, but the people who support Jim Kaufman say, you know, he's a widow, and he's moving on with his life.
But Dr. Kaufman's next move sets off a chain of events that pushes Kim out of limbo.
He went after my mom's life insurance policy.
And your reaction?
No way. Because you know what? This was my only attempt to maybe be able to get some answers, and the truth maybe would start to come out.
Now it's Kim's turn to lawyer up. Believing Jim is the killer, she files a wrongful death suit against her stepdad to keep him from getting her mom's $600,000 life insurance policy.
I have no choice to respond and to begin to fight for what I know is right.
The most significant kind of civil lawsuit you can have is a wrongful death case.
Coming up, a daughter undaunted, and the dynamic duo attorneys she hires begin digging into the case, and what they say they uncover is shocking.
We were talking to people that were critical witnesses to us that had not spoken to the prosecutor's office.
And their chance to grill the grieving good doctor.
He was under oath in a civil deposition. They could ask him anything.
Next. Atlantic City, legendary for its slots, signature shows, And of course, this moment. But the boom and the bust of the casino industry has made America's favorite playground a hotbed for crime, corruption, and a startling number of unsolved cases. Cases like April Kaufman's, but Kim Pack and her dogged attorneys, Patrick and Andrew Darcy, drill down, determined to get answers.
Behind the scenes, Kim, with us, was nonstop digging for answers, getting proof. We were on an island, all on our own.
But the tide may be turning.
I grew up on the beaches and the boardwalk of Atlantic City, and I always say I have sand in my shoes.
Meet Damon Tyner, son of one of Atlantic City's fabled firefighters and a longtime cop.
Your dad was a bit of a legend.
Yeah, he was very well known throughout the community.
But the younger Tyner made a name for himself as a Superior Court judge.
Good to see you. How you making out? So they named a pizza for me.
I think right here.
Yep, that would be me.
And then last year,
I, Damon G. Tyner,
became the first black prosecutor in the county's history.
So help me God.
Many seeing him as the city's much-needed savior.
You're doing a good job, man.
I appreciate it.
Great job. Thanks
a lot.
Thank you.
Joey, you all right?
No, not judge anymore.
Good to see you.
That man's cleaning up AC. There you go.
You took a pledge when you took the office. Tell me about the pledge.
Dating back to 1970, there are about 140 unsolved homicides. I urged my executive staff to tell me which cases were most solvable. Unanimously, they all came back to me and said the murder of April Kaufman.
But Tyner is sworn in almost 5 years after April Kaufman's murder. 5 long years.
A lot of people wondered why 5 years passed and no recognizable work had been done.
It wasn't that there were glaring mistakes. It was just an omission of effort, you might say.
We wondered about that and tried asking former prosecutor Jim McClain about the investigation. His spokesperson tells 2020 McClain has no comment.
Fortunately, Damon Tyner became prosecutor, and his team came to the conclusion that this case should be prosecuted.
For the first time, someone's listening here.
Tyner agreed to meet Kim Pack and her lawyers within that first month.
What did that mean to you?
The fact that I was lucky enough for him to say, I'm going to take a second look at this. Me, my case, thank you. Like, this is all I've been asking for this entire time, is for someone to care.
It took 3 hours for Kim's lawyers to unpack all they had uncovered.
You should take a look at these records.
But no evidence as compelling or illuminating as this.
Today's July the 11th, 2014.
A 4.5-hour-long video deposition of Dr. Jim Kaufman himself, finally talking for that wrongful death lawsuit Kim has filed.
Basically, I ask the questions, you give the answers. Understood?
Yes. 4.5 hours under oath is a lot of time. It's a lot of questions.
I do. Okay. We may proceed.
That was the first time he could be compelled to talk.
There he is in the hot seat for the very first time, getting grilled on everything from his love of guns.
How many guns do you own?
Approximately 18.
To the moment he first saw his wife lying lifeless on the floor.
I ran upstairs. I looked inside and unfortunately saw April lying there. And she wasn't moving, and she had a pallor, which I've known after 30 years is obviously someone has passed away. And I ran downstairs and went out on the lawn and was hysterical and started vomiting.
Okay, do you have tissues, by the way?
I got this.
Do you need to break? When I look at a deposition, I sometimes turn the sound down. I don't want to hear what they're saying. I want to see what they look like and what their facial expressions are. He struck me as a manipulative guy.
But there's a barrel-sized bombshell about to drop. The doctor's casual and stunning admission about a secret he's been keeping for years. Seems that time he spent in the Special Forces wasn't so special.
Have you ever served in any branch of the military?
No.
That's right, Dr. Kaufman forced to come clean about his so-called stellar military record. Those Purple Hearts, those sharpshooter medals, all lies.
Did you ever tell Kim Pack you were in the military?
Yes.
Okay. Did she ever do a project for college, and part of the project was you being in the military?
Yes.
And what you went through?
Yes.
And that you carried bodies?
Yes.
And the torture that you had gone through?
Yes.
Did you ever tell anyone that you were a Green Beret?
Yes.
Who'd you tell?
I don't recall how many people I told.
So he created this background that didn't even really exist.
That is correct. Once you start examining someone who is bold enough to engage in stolen valor, you start realizing that there are other aspects to this man's life that would require us to investigate.
But in that deposition, Dr. Kaufman posits his own theories about who may have killed his wife.
Who do you think did it?
I thought it could be someone who was one of the veterans. The last choice was that it was someone in a motorcycle gang.
What motorcycle gang?
The Pagans.
The Pagan motorcycle gang? Remember, April had a penchant for motorcycles. Could that mean she was in deep with the kind of people known for violent behavior?
The pagan outlaws are the equivalent of the Hell's Angels. They are felons of the most dangerous sort.
Coming up, a stunning turn in the Kaufman case.
No, I'm killing myself.
Leading to a standoff in the Garden State.
Drop the gun!
No, I'm not going to jail for this.
Put the weapon down.
No!
Stay with us. We're on the beat with James Scopa, lead detective determined to crack a big case for Atlantic City's new prosecutor.
I was happy when Prosecutor Tyner came in and he allowed us to work on the case and investigate it like we believed it should be.
Meanwhile, Kim and her lawyers keep their eye on what they believe is the prize, Jim Kaufman, using his pictures on social media as incentive.
I would get a picture of Jim Kaufman and Carol at the Final Four and, you know, smiling, and I'd put it on my brother's screen so that when he came in the morning, that would be the first thing he'd see is a picture of Jim Kaufman saying, yeah, so what? I killed her. What are you going to do about it?
But there's an unexpected canary in Kaufman's coal mine. It's coming in the form of a tip from the FBI. The feds believe Kaufman may be involved in another unrelated crime.
Lo and behold, another investigation related to insurance fraud, his role as a doctor, comes up.
Investigators get a warrant to search his office.
So they show up at Kaufman's clinic just to look at his records.
On June 13th, 2017, we attempted to serve a search warrant at Dr. Kaufman's office here.
Within minutes, it's clear this will not be a routine visit.
Detective Scope with the prosecutor's office under the last week. Stay right here for me. Keep your hands off down there. No.
What does he do instead of ushering them in as most of us would with the feds? No, he grabs a 9mm Ruger.
A police body cam captures it all. You can see and hear him refusing to let authorities inside.
I have one at gunpoint, Dr. James Kaufman. He has a weapon. Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
For 45 minutes, there's a heart-pounding standoff.
Drop the gun!
At one point, Dr. Kaufman threatening to take his life.
I'm going to kill myself.
It sure seems like Jim thinks they're there in connection with April's murder.
Listen, let's talk.
I'm not going to jail for this.
We got movement.
Finally, a hostage negotiator gets the disgraced doctor to surrender.
Dr. Kaufman, please step out to the curb. Now, slowly, reach down and pull your shirt up. Keep walking backwards.
Just watch the building to make sure there's no one else still inside.
This video changes everything.
The husband of a murdered South Jersey radio host and advocate is behind bars following an early morning standoff.
Investigators say that same day they seized more weapons from Kaufman and at least $100,000 in cash. That was a game changer.
After the standoff with Jim Kaufman, he goes to jail, not for murder, but for weapons charges. He fights to try to get out. The judge would not let him out based on his conduct, and that gives the new prosecutor, Tyner, a chance to really dig into the murder case.
starting with the crime scene.
So this is the house here. The bedroom that April was found was upstairs.
But the biggest break in the case doesn't come from inside this house at all.
We knew Dr. Kaufman that there was a point in time that he was inquiring about having her killed. And
how'd you find that out?
We were able to get a witness to cooperate with us this past November. That broke the case.
And who was that witness? A former member of the Pagans Motorcycle Club. Remember them? They're the ones Dr. Kaufman had pointed the finger at in his deposition.
The last choice was that it was someone in a motorcycle gang.
What motorcycle gang?
The Pagans.
But now the tables have turned. One of those Pagans ratting out Kaufman, and not just for murder. Prosecutor Tyner on January 9th, 2018.
Hey, Sergeant,
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Damon G. Tyner.
At a press conference, Tyner lays out the case of an elaborate and secret double life that Dr. Jim Kaufman was leading. Treating patients by day, writing fraudulent opioid prescriptions for those Pagans by night.
They would come in and be patients, and all of a sudden you had a prominent endocrinologist that was prescribing opioids and all kinds of other painkillers when that wasn't quite his practice.
So he's got the power of the prescription, and then they've got the gang activity.
Essentially, they were flooding the market with opioids and selling them at a marked up price.
What a bombshell. This straight-laced doctor that everyone had respected was part of a pill mill, a drug ring. And not only that, with the Pagan outlaw motorcycle gang. And April Kaufman found out.
Found out and, according to Tyner, threatened to expose his secret seedy double life.
He started thinking about ways to engage his exit strategy.
To get rid of her.
To get rid of her. For the past 5.5 years since April Kaufman was found shot to death, there's been little movement on this case, and no arrests had been made in connection with the murder. That is until today.
An explosive breakthrough in the murder of radio host April Kaufman.
Murder charges just filed against Dr. James Kaufman in a plot that police say involved members of a motorcycle gang.
But wait a minute, didn't the doctor have an airtight alibi? Remember that early morning stop at a convenience store? Tyner says Kaufman wasn't the shooter, that he paid one of those Pagans roughly $20,000 to do his dirty work and kill his wife.
He went inside and he shot April Kaufman twice.
And ironically, that alleged hitman died a year and a half after April's murder of an opiate overdose. His pills prescribed by, you guessed it, Dr. Jim Kaufman.
When I heard the details of everything, it really was unbelievable. I feel like this is the worst made-for-TV movie on the planet.
The prosecutor worries Dr. Kaufman could be targeted by Pagan members in jail, so they move him upstate to the Hudson County Correctional Facility as they begin gearing up for their first major trial. Finally, a chance to close one of those Atlantic County cold cases. But then, another shocking turn.
Dr. James Kaufman dead. Officials with the Hudson County Correctional Facility confirmed that he died at 9:20 this morning.
What was your reaction when you heard this?
I was stunned.
The story started off terrible and is ending terrible.
Dr. Jim Kaufman dead. But how?
Were you worried that he could be hurt in prison?
That's always a concern.
Will justice ever be served? Stay with us. It's been a long, strange trip for Dr. Jim Kaufman, from a plush suburban cul-de-sac to the Hudson County Jail. His new home, a 6-by-9-foot cell like this.
This is Charlie 500 East. Maximum security.
The inmates, many considered violent and dangerous, were Dr. Kaufman's new neighbors as he awaited his trial in a facility just across the river from New York City.
What kind of crimes?
We're talking murder.
It's rare to get a look inside these tight quarters unless you're an inmate, but corrections officers agreed to take us in, recalling that fateful morning. Just after serving Dr. Kaufman breakfast, they made a grim discovery. The doctor was dead, hanging himself with a laundry cord.
I was stunned, but that's, in retrospect, that's what convinces me now more than ever that he understood that the end was near.
He realized it had all caught up with him.
Yes, I think so.
Bottom line, he had his wife murdered, and the only way out for him was suicide.
Kaufman did leave something behind in that jail cell. This note obtained by 2020.
Even in that jail cell, when he killed himself, he had to write this very lengthy suicide note to be in control at the very end, to get the last word.
Kaufman adamant that he didn't kill April.
I cannot live like this. No matter what anybody says, did not do anything to my wife.
This 6-page suicide note is bizarre.
Throughout the note, he quotes Latin, including phrases that Roman gladiators would say to the emperor before they fought in the Colosseum. Really?
His final words do add a surprisingly new angle to the sordid saga.
April came to me and said, would I like to go to a motorcycle rally to meet some of her friends? I was slightly shocked, to say the least, that they had the colors of pagans.
The most important thing that Jim Kaufman wants people to take away from this note is, I didn't kill April. She introduced me to this outlaw gang. I was prescribing pills. They then got aggressive with me. They then started threatening me. And they're the ones who killed April.
Were you able to determine whether April had any involvement with either the gang or the pill mill?
Our investigation at the time did not lead us to believe that she had any involvement. I believe that at some point she became aware of it. I think ultimately that's the reason why she was killed.
But dead men tell no tales, at least not in court. And with both that alleged hitman and Jim Kaufman deceased, Tyner's last call for justice rests with the case he's building against the accused pagan ringleader, who he believes conspired with Kaufman to kill April. He's pled not guilty.
There is an aspect of the investigation that's continuing with a defendant who is still pending trial. So I won't disclose too much about that part of the investigation, but suffice it to say that we were convinced that Jim Kaufman's involvement in this matter was enough to charge him with conspiracy to commit murder.
Is there any doubt in your mind that her husband wanted her dead?
There's no doubt in my mind.
A painful conclusion for a grieving daughter, yet a measure of solace. Kim Pack may finally find the justice she's been seeking for years.
Why do you think this case wasn't solved 6 years ago?
I don't know, that's the million-dollar question. But what I do know is that I was blessed and granted the ability to have peace in my life for the first time in 6 years by a man with determination and that believed in my story. And that is Damon Tyner, and I am forever grateful to that man.
Although in a tale as twisted and tragic as this, there's hardly any true closure.
And that's the saddest part of this entire story. Her mom's still not coming back. And when everything's quiet and it's just Kim and she's alone and she's thinking, her best friend's gone.
We were robbed. And for what? I still don't have the answer to that. For what?
When we come back, one of those precious family heirlooms sold at auction has been recovered. The secret message from beyond the grave found inside, next. Kim Pack doesn't just resemble her mom, she's inherited the same passion that made April Kaufman so beloved.
She's like a pit bull. She is. She latches on and she's not letting go until she gets what she's looking for. She's a mini April.
There's been dark days, very dark days, where I just didn't know how I was going to do this. But I knew that I needed to stand up. This story needed to be told.
But in that darkness, something special. Remember when Jim sold off all of April's belongings? Turns out Lee Darby and Peg O'Boyle, dubbing themselves April's Angels, swooped in.
These women got together and they were on the phone calling people, raising money to be able to buy back things that belonged to my mother.
So that's how you got the last remnants of your mom's things?
Yes. And my mom collected these little Limoges things, and this was the first item that I touched from the auction. And inside this note, it says, "To Kimberly, from Mom. Whenever you look at this, you know you're always loved. You're so special. Best wishes for the rest of your life."
And you had no idea that note was there?
No, and I feel like this was meant to be. I feel like I was meant to have this. I keep this by my bed. It reminds me that my mom is with me all the time.
Out in the community, other reminders.
My husband and my boys got this bench dedicated for her. It's special because it's a spot that we stop and my kids will bring up a memory or they will talk about her.
And if Mom could say just one more thing to her daughter?
I think she would say to me now, you can breathe, you can go on and live, you don't have to be sad anymore. And thank you for fighting.
A fighter to the finish. Remember Kim Pack's civil case to get her mother's life insurance?
Well, we can report tonight that her attorney now says that's been amicably settled with Kaufman's widow. And that is 2020 for tonight. I'm David Muir.
And I'm Amy Robach. From all of us here at ABC News in 2020, good night.